we explore, like we're encouraged to explore, learn a little bit about ourselves in the process, but try not to get so attached to that end result. Try not to get so attached to, you know, this idea of, you know, validating yourself through amazing accomplishments, including yoga poses. You know, those things are great, and we have every right to enjoy those things that we achieve. But we need to remember that there's that fine line between the enjoyment of it and the acknowledging of it and recognizing it, and getting to the point where our whole like state of existence depends on that, you know, and that's too much, right? Because we're more than that, right? We're more than that. So that being said, we're going to unpack those inversions today. We'll focus again on the headstand process, starting with our dolphin pose and going from there. And then, you know, we'll just kind of visit different inversions each week while building on what we've learned. So hopefully you can continue to join in class. This class is also being recorded, just so you know. So anyway, so close those eyes if you haven't done so already. Start to bring your awareness to your breath, letting go of the week behind you. And while it is a holiday weekend for many of us, well, really for all of us, I guess, hopefully you don't have to work too much this today or the weekend. But it's, you know, generally a time when we get to rest and relax a little bit or have some fun. And that's all well and good. But let's set that aside for now and bring our attention to the here and the now and our time on the mat. And that's all that we need to focus on. That's all we need to think about for now. So checking in with your foundation, rooting down through your base, lengthening up through the crown of your head. Tone up your abdominal muscles right in your center. Let your shoulders and face relax, soften. If you haven't held on to the deeper breathing or haven't started that, go ahead and start to lengthen and deepen each breath. I invite you to practice your victorious breath this thing, tightening up the muscles in the back of the throat. Getting into yet a deeper level of awareness. Then let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts. As always, I invite you to set an intention for your practice. I'd also like to invite you to consider the mantra this morning. This is the mantra of the week, and it's very simple, 2 words. I can. I can. Remembering that when we set our intention, when we set our mind to something, when we believe that we can do something, that sets the ball in motion. One more breath in and out here. We'll gently blink open our eyes, release our hands down. Okay. So we're going to start warming up just the upper body a little bit here. So let's take our arms down by our sides to begin with. Lengthen up. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. We'll bring the palms together and then exhale, bring them down in front of your heart. And then release that out. We'll inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, bring it down. Just do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, draw those hands down in front of the heart. And then let's just extend those arms straight out in front of us. Separate the hands. Inhale, open the chest, pull the elbows and shoulders back. Lift the heart a little here. And then on your next exhale, reverse that. Round out the spine, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, open, broaden, expand. Exhale, close, round, look within. And then just move through this motion, matching your movement with your breath. Going for a couple more here. Finishing out that expansion. Did the door blow open? Thank you. Exhale, close, and then release it. The door is misbehaving. This door. It happened last week too. Anyway, on Monday, it happened on Monday. All right. So let's go ahead and come into a downward facing dog, right? Let's go right to down dog. Christine, also I wanted to say, if you are uncomfortable, since there's only us in the room and we're really far apart, if you are comfortable taking that off, if that feels better for you, you can. I'm okay with it. All right, just so you know, just want to offer that out there. We can dine inside without a mask on at our table. I think we can do that on the mat. So let's go ahead and pedal at our heels. That's my new justification. Pedal at your heels, but not everybody's comfortable doing that. I totally understand it. So just moving around as we usually do on our downward facing dog. And then I encourage you to find stillness at some point. All right, and then if you are still moving, go ahead and find that stillness, rooting down through both heels, stretching out through those arms, rooting down through all 10 fingers. Let's come into a little down dog split. We'll take the right leg up. Now let's do our best to keep our hips level here. Keeping the down dog split legs. We're going to bend our left knee. So the foot that's on the floor, bend that knee and begin to hover over the mat as though you're coming into a tabletop. So get that knee down, hover it over the floor, and then extend back up to down dog split. Bend that supporting leg, hover, abs engage, and extend it back, down dog split. One more time on this side, hovering, keep those abdominals nice and strong, press it back, and then we'll float that right foot to the floor, switching legs, left leg rises, keep those hips level, come into your hover, bending that right knee, shoulders come forward, and then press it back. Come forward, bend that knee, lower it towards the floor, see how close you can get. Press it back. And then one more time. Nice job, let's press it back. Bring that left foot to the ground. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Bend your knees as much as needed here so that you can connect your torso to your legs. Upper body relax, softens. Grab opposite elbows for ragdoll pose. Stay centered or gently rotate side to side. And then come to stillness here. See if you can soften the abdominal wall.
Just not tense it up, not tighten it, just soften it. Let that natural belly lock occur, that Uddiyana Bandha. Remembering that this is a great way to instill lightness in our core, which helps immensely with inversions. But despite the fact that it's light, it's strong, supporting our spine, massaging our internal organs, and allowing our spine to lengthen and enjoy that traction. All right. On an inhale, we'll engage those back muscles and find a halfway lift. And then walk your hands forward, make your way into a plank position. Feel free to bring knees down for support if needed this morning. Let's take a breath in. And then exhale, lower yourself all the way down. Let's go all the way down this morning. We're gonna come to locust pose. So take your arms by your side, palms down. Engage your legs and inhale, lift the chest, the arms, and the feet. Nice, and then slowly lower it down. We'll bend those elbows, hands frame out the side ribs. See if you can push up to a plank or a kneeling plank this morning. Yes, and then go back to down dog. Give your head a gentle shake, side to side, to release the neck. And then let it hang heavy, let the head hang heavy. And then rise up onto the toes, and this time we'll bring the feet up to the hands, stepping the feet, little baby steps. Coming into a halfway lift. When you get to the top of your mat, draw shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse. Reach the arms up and over. Exhale to your mountain pose. Find your mountain nice and strong, rooting down through the feet. Chest lifted, abdominals engaged. And then let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, swan, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale, lift the heart, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, make your way back to plank and lower down. Inhale through, come into cobra or upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. Gently rotate that head left to right, right to left, and then find your center. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. We'll come up onto those toes and tiptoe our way up to the top of the mat. Inhaling to half lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, reverse, reaching the arms up and over. Exhaling to mountain pose. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, plant your hands, step it back, flow through. Making our way to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Take one more breath like that. Full inhale and exhale, release. And then any way you want to bring your feet up to the mat. Step, hop, crawl, tiptoe. Coming to the top of the mat, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse, swan dive, reach those arms up. We're gonna come to chair pose, bending those knees. Let's press the hips back. Good, take a nice breath in. And then we'll exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back and lower, or go ahead and take your little jump, right? Jumping back to chaturanga, possibly. I can. Downward facing dog. Let's inhale the right leg high, down dog split. Exhale, bring the foot to the top of the mat. Come up to warrior one, planting your back heel down, firming up that back leg to help you find that balance. Settling in here, squaring the hips to the top of the mat. Let's pull the shoulders up towards the ears and then draw the shoulders down. Reaching up through the fingers. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands frame out the foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left inhale. Exhale, bend those elbows lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, lift those hips. Downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, bring the foot to the top of the mat. We move into warrior one on the other side. And this time, let's bring those arms straight out in front. Round the back, so the shoulder blades pull away from the spine. The upper arm bones kind of like pull out a little bit, or they feel like they're pulling out. And then we draw back. Bring those arms up once again. Full breath in and out. Stand in your strength. And then a deep breath in. Exhale, hands float down, framing out the foot. Step it back, flow it through. Good job. Deep breath in and out. So even here, bring awareness to your shoulders. Bring your shoulders towards your ears, right? So you'll feel that lift just like we did in one of those warriors. Allow your navel to soften, your belly area to soften. And then see if you can pull the shoulders away from the ears. Breath in and out. And then let's bring those feet to the top. Hop, step, crawl, tiptoe. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Let's bend our knees and rise up to chair pose as we inhale. Take your hands back behind you. You can either reach your hands straight back, or you can go for the bind. Just rinsing those shoulders a little bit. We've been doing some work there. Okay, release the arms. Let's inhale, reach up, and then exhale, dive it right back down, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back and lower, or jump back to chaturanga. Flowing it through, downward facing dog. So stay in this down dog for a moment. We'll add a little twist here. Some of us benefit by bringing the feet forward a little bit so that the stance, the hands and feet aren't as far apart for this twist. So if you're feeling really stretched out in that down dog, like you're almost in a plank, walk those feet forward so that you can actually reach your leg with your hand. You're going to take your left hand to the lower outside of your right leg. And you're looking back at your feet, but then let's twist it, right? So you're going to turn the torso, pull on the leg, and look to your right or up towards the sky underneath your right armpit. Breathe. Nice. One more breath here before releasing to your downward facing dog. And then we're going to inhale that right leg high to the sky. Exhale, bring that foot to the top of the mat. Set up in a low runner's lunge to start. Get your foundation established, and then let's go ahead and rise up to a high runner's lunge. Make sure you feel grounded here. If you don't, you can take a warrior one stance with your back foot down, but see if you can do the lunge, challenge your balance. Palms will come together. Let's bend the elbows and rest the heels of your hands, lower arms in your, in the back of your head, just above your neck. Elbows typically will pull out, so see if you can pull the elbows in, squeeze them in towards your head. Lift the chest a little more. Breathe. Good, and then we're going to release those hands, reach straight up, setting up for warrior three. Feel free to bring your arms down by your side if you need to. We're going to start to hinge over that front leg. Shift your weight into that right leg, that front leg, and take off into your Virabhadrasana 3, warrior 3. Stand in your strength. You can. Lifted leg is active. Toes and knee point straight down. Now we're going to slowly bring our hands to the floor. Feel free to grab some blocks if you need to, or just tent your fingers. And then we're going to just bring that left foot onto the mat to meet the right. Your spine is nice and long here. It's like you're doing a half lift. Draw shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, fold. Your feet should be about 2 fist width apart. So put them there if they're not. 2 options for a bind this morning. One is the toe hold. First and second finger wrapping around the big toes all the way, stepping down into the fingers with the big toes, and then bending the elbows to deepen. Forward fold. You can also grab your lower legs behind your ankles. Try to keep your elbows pulling into the legs now, rather than going out to the side. So pull those elbows into the midline. Good. Soften your abdominal wall. Remember that belly lock. Okay, let's release that out. Bring your feet back together, big toes touch. Bend your knees, rise up to chair pose. We'll bring our hands in front of our hearts, taking another twist, twisting to the right. Squeeze the thighs, and then rotate to your right. Bringing that left elbow onto the thigh. So you know there's lots of places to go. Oftentimes we'll open the arms to deepen the twist. You can do that. You can stay in the twist and just make it a deeper squat, lowering your hips down. Heels come up off the ground. You can stay there, lengthen the spine, squeeze the thighs together. If you have an arm balance in your practice, I've been doing funky side crow this week. Left hand will come on the floor. Right forearm comes down onto the ground. Shift your weight forward and over. And press into, legs into the arm. Squeeze the thighs. Possibly, just an option. When you are finished, whatever you've done, meet up in forward fold. So inhale to unwind from your twist. Separate your feet. Yep, you can just take a nice forward fold here. Relax that upper body. Good, and then inhale to your half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant those hands, step back to plank and lower, take your vinyasa. Deep breath in, exhale it out. Taking our down dog twist on the other side. So shorten your stance if you need. Stepping those feet a little bit closer to the hands. Taking the right hand this time, grabbing a hold of that lower left leg, giving a little pull, just a little traction as we rotate that torso. Turn the gaze looking up underneath that left armpit this time. Keep those heels pressing down. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. One more breath here. And then we'll unwind from that. Back to your down dog. Let's take that down dog split. Left leg high, inhale. Exhale, bring that foot to the top of the mat. Get set up in your low runner's lunge. Rise up when you're ready. We got to root down to rise up, so root down through those feet. And then let's take that little bind, palms together, bending the elbows, pull the elbows in towards the head. Lift the heart, open up, breathe. Release those arms. Bring them down by your side if their shoulders are getting tired. Let's take off into our warrior three. Feel free to shorten your stance there. Hinge over that front leg. Take off. Breathing. So with the back leg, sometimes we can't see it. We're not sure where it is in space. Focus on lifting from your right inner thigh, the back of the right inner thigh. That will help get the bones aligned. Breathe. Nice. All right, let's bring those hands to the floor. Nice long spine here. And then we'll bring that right foot to the floor to meet the left. You can take the peace fingers again, ankle grab, or go for the full gorilla pose. Each hand slides underneath each foot. Your feet should be about 2 fists width apart here. If you're doing gorilla, toes meet the wrist crease. Fold over, relax your torso. Soften your belly, soften the abdominal wall. Breathe. Okay, release that out. Let's bring those feet a little closer, come into a half lift, re-lengthen the spine. And then we're gonna bend our knees, rising up to our chair pose, inhaling as you come up. Palms will come in front of the heart. Make sure you can see your toes, moving into your twist to your left. Squeeze those thighs together. No matter where you go with this, keep those thighs squeezing together. Keep those palms rooted, or just, if you're separating your arms, you can do that. All right, keep that heart lifted, spine long. If you're just going to explore a deeper squat, bend the knees more, lower the hips down. It's hard to balance because you're on your toes. Do what you can. If you're working with your arm balance, certainly you could do a side crow, but maybe today you do something a little different and go for funky side crow. Right hand on the floor, left elbow on the ground underneath the shoulder. We get there anyway. Shift your weight forward. Squeeze the legs together. Squeeze your feet in towards your butt. It is hard. A lot of it, well, I think too, because come on out when you're ready. Have a seat for a second. Raina was saying here in the studio that feels harder than a regular side crow. And it is, but oftentimes what makes something harder is it's a movement pattern that we are not used to, right? We haven't done it a lot. And, when we've been practicing, especially many of you who are online today and here today, we've been doing this thing called yoga for a long time now, and then when we introduce something new, the body's like, and the mind is like, wait a second, this is weird. I don't know this. It feels awkward. So what's the answer? You don't need me to tell you, right? Keep doing it. But I'm going to tell you anyway. All right, let's take a vinyasa. So go ahead and stretch yourself out. You can go into a down dog to start. We'll all meet up there. And then we'll all come down to tabletop. So after you've done that flow, make your way to all fours. And we're going to start our breakdown here, starting with our dolphin pose. So let's lower down onto our forearms and elbows. Now, while we're not pulling them in really close, we're also avoiding this bringing them out to the side, right? So keep them lined up right under your shoulders. And then we're going to bring our hands folded together, right? So you don't have to white knuckle it, just let the fingers be soft. Root down through your forearms, not just the elbows, but the entire forearm. Curling the toes under, we'll press our hips up and make our way to dolphin pose. So essentially it looks a lot like a down dog on the forearms. You guys know the drill there. Pay attention to how your shoulders are feeling. And recognize that when we root down through those elbows and forearms, we can create a little more strength, a little more stability. Let the head hang heavy. If you start to push your chest towards your legs, opening up those shoulders a little more, you'll get some added mobility along with the strength, which seems counterintuitive. It's possible. One more breath here. All right, gently lower your knees back down. You can take them out as wide as you'd like Release back to a child's pose.
Letting your arms rest, letting your shoulders rest. Connect to your breath. Remember your intention. Remember the mantra, I can. Just a couple more breaths here. So if you were feeling strong and grounded in that dolphin pose and you want to do it again, you're welcome to do it again. If you are thinking about maybe taking the next step, gently placing the head on the ground and just exploring a little bit of weight in the head, remembering that sometimes, you know, if you've got neck issues, shoulder issues, you want to tread very carefully. You don't necessarily need to completely avoid it unless you feel like you need to, right? And you know your body better than anybody. But I equate this to sort of just gradually building up the strength, not just in the muscles, but in the bones, and also in your nervous system, getting your nervous system used to the pattern. So I'll talk you through just a half a headstand with a little bit of weight on your head. If you are not putting your head on the ground, you're going to do dolphin pose again. So let's come to tabletop. And I think we're going to go for 3 here. So if you have headstand in your practice, this is only our 2nd round. Just choose wisely, whatever you want to do. But we won't use wall space or anything like that. So we set up, lowering down. We'll interlace our fingers just like we did, but with the headstand option, the half a headstand, we separate the palms, touch the tips of the big thumbs. Look at your wrists. Ideally, we want those wrists straight, like perpendicular. We want to avoid rolling the arms out. As we roll the arms out, that puts the wrists in a kind of weird place. Root down through your forearms. Place the crown of your head, the very top of your head, on the ground very softly. The back of your head is resting in the, the base of your thumb. So your hands are not around your whole entire head. There's some space. Root down again through your arms, curl your toes under, press up. You're in a dolphin or you've got just a little bit of weight on your head holding this pose. Root down to the elbows a little bit more. Stay nice and strong. If you're feeling good here, just explore walking your toes towards your face a little bit more. Okay, stay there just for a moment. You're either in dolphin pose or you've got a little bit of weight on your head. Rooting down firmly through those arms, building amazing upper body strength here. Good. And then let's bring those knees down and gently release back to child's pose. So rest there while I chat just for another moment. Okay, so for those, I know some of you are already practicing headstand. And some of you, that might have been the first time that you actually did that with the head on the ground. So that's something to practice for a little while. It could be weeks, months, years, depending on how often you practice, how your body's feeling, how your energy is. Taking your mat next to a wall, if you're starting to feel like you're ready to do the next step, bringing your mat near the wall would be a great way to go. And I invite you to do that now. I know some of you at home may not have wall space. So remember, we're taking steps here. So the first step was dolphin. The second was the half a headstand with our heads on the ground, but most of the weight in our arms. If you have headstand out in the middle of the floor in your practice, you can go ahead and work towards that. And if you're going to take wall space, anybody online taking wall space? Because I'm not going to talk you through. Okay, good. I see Tara over there. Awesome. Okay. So you're going to set up just like you did before on your all fours. And I would say your head and your arms are probably a good 6 inches away from the base there, right? You'll set up the same way. Root down through your forearms. Make sure your elbows are shoulder width apart. Top of the head rests on the floor. Back of the head rests the base of your thumbs. And then you can hold it here. Another option, if you're not using wall space, is to just do it like a down dog split. Okay, nice. Eventually, what we want to work towards with this is getting the hips right up over the shoulders, whether your feet are in the air or not, right? The hips come over the shoulders, and then it makes it way easier to pull the knees into the chest and then raise your legs straight up. We have a tendency to want to kick up. If you feel like you want to kick up, it's probably a good sign that your hips are not aligned over your shoulders. Because once your hips get there, it's a very gentle lift, very gentle lift. First time is hard, right? Because you have to really engage your core, pull in. It's more of a pull than a push. Pull in from your center rather than a push with your feet. When you're ready, go ahead and come down, rest in child's pose. Nice. Yeah. And of course, there's all sorts of fun things we can do with transitions up and down once we get over that. How do I get my feet up? Okay, so resting in child's pose, arms where they're comfortable. Now, if your arms are not outstretched overhead, go ahead and make your way into an extended child's pose. We're going to use that as a transition, but we've been doing a lot of bending of the elbows. And so let's get a nice stretch for the arms with them extended above our heads. Do your tiger claw. So lift the palms of your hands, lift most of your fingers up, just root down through your fingernails, the tips, very tips of your fingers. Draw the shoulders away from the ears here. Get that nice traction happening. Then we'll place the palms down. And then let's inhale, lift our hips off the heels. Come into a kneeling push-up, bending the elbows. We're gonna lower all the way down. And then come to a Sphinx pose here. So once again, we're on our forearms. Elbows are pretty much right under the shoulders or thereabouts. Let's keep the legs a little energized here. And then I want you to really focus on broadening, we say broadening your collarbones, which sounds weird. So just pull your shoulders back and down. The chest lifts. And just imagine widening this area, right? Just sometimes if we imagine it, we can actually start to feel that. You might be getting a nice stretch for your abdominals here. So we're not going to have a lot of time to work on it today, but next week, definitely, yes. The forearm balance, the Pincha Mayurasana, feathered peacock pose. We just call it forearm balance, but feathered peacock sounds so much cooler, doesn't it? With the forearm balance, it's interesting because the upper body, like from the chest up and the shoulders, sort of have this feeling in them, right? But then everything from like the chest down is more like alignment in mountain or in headstand even. So we have this sort of like opposing stuff going on, which requires a lot of control for the spine and the shoulders. So just want to explore that, and we'll continue with this next week. All right, one more breath here. All right. And then we're just going to go ahead and spin those elbows out. Let's just take a little crocodile pose where we let everything soften and relax. You can turn those toes out if you didn't already. Rest your chin or your head on your hands. Relax those shoulders. All right, and then we're gonna slide those hands back next to our ribs. Let's pull those legs in closer together. Push up to a kneeling or a high plank. Press back to downward facing dog.
Inhale, come back into plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the heart, cobra or up dog. Exhale your way to down dog. So we're going to take a wider lunge here. Inhale your right leg high to the sky, and then bring that right foot to the outside of your hand. So like, you know, when we're setting up for lizard, but no lizard today. Sorry, I haven't done lizard in a long time in my class. I'm gonna have to get that back in. Adding a twist here, left hand under your shoulder on the floor on a block, right hand on your thigh. Press your right hand into the thigh, rotate that torso. Keep the back leg fired up and energized. Nice breaths here. All right, releasing that out. We're gonna walk that right foot into the midline and set up for half split. So if you need cushioning under that left knee before putting it down, go ahead and grab it. Left knee comes down. Walk the hands and hips back. Hips line up over that back knee. Energize your front foot. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold over that leg, getting that nice sweet release. We'll call it a sweet release. It feels really hard, but stretch for the hamstrings. And then we're going to travel around with our hands here, yogis, this morning. So let's go over to the right. So you're going to start to walk your hands over to the outside of that front leg, just crossing that left arm over, stretch it out long. And then you can play around and see how far over you can go, okay? It gets more intense the further over to the side you go, especially if you've got a tight IT band, in addition to tight hamstrings. Do what you can. It's okay to keep a soft bend in that knee, but the more you can straighten it, the deeper you'll get the stretch. Nice deep breath in and out here. All right, we're gonna walk it back around. So frame out your foot once again. So you're just going back the way you can. And then let's bend that front knee. So bend your right leg, come back into a low runner's lunge, and then walk around to the left side of your mat, set up for Skandasana. The leg that's near the back of your mat, bend that one. So we're still stretching that right leg. So bend your left leg. You can keep your hips high or go down low, adjust your feet as needed so you can balance and come into the pose with some integrity. Now, if you were high up, you'll need to bring your hands to the ground, maybe to help you lower down. The lower you go, we're gonna just gradually come to seated with that right leg extended long. So come to seated on your mat. Your right leg is extended long. Bring the sole of your left to the right inner thigh. If you need to adjust yourself a little so you're facing the front, that's fine, but you don't need to be attached to that. Taking head to knee pose, let's inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, fold over that right leg. Feel free to grab your calf, your foot, use a strap, any adjustments you need to help you find some somewhat comfort in this pose. Nice deep breaths. One more breath here. On your next inhale, slowly rise back up. And let's take a counter stretch here. So place your left hand on the mat behind you. We're gonna lift those hips up, sweep that right arm up over our head. Push those hips as far forward as you can. All right, and then we're gonna bring it down. Come to face the front around the middle of your mat with your knees bent. And then I'd say maybe just go back a little more. So near the middle of your mat, and then maybe just scooch back a little teeny bit. We're gonna do little rolls for the spine, okay?
3, 2, 1, roll back, and then we're going to do a vinyasa. So however you need to get there. And if the rolling back hurts your back, if it doesn't feel comfortable, you can just meet us in down dog any way you want. Okay, if you're going to do the rolls with me, knees to chest, round your back, roll up, roll back, roll up. That was 2. Roll back, cross your ankles, roll up, shift your weight forward, jump back, step back, chaturanga, flow through. Yes. In your down dog, lift that left leg high, inhale. Exhale, bring the foot to the outside of the left hand, setting up for your twisty lunge. Left hand on the leg, right hand under your shoulder. Turn, shoulders draw away from the ears. Back leg energized. Broaden the chest. Okay, releasing that out. We'll walk that left foot in towards the midline in a low lunge, setting up for half split. So we'll bring that right knee down. Walk hips and hands back. Hips line up over that back knee, half split. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. And then we're going to cross that right arm over. Just walk those hands off to the side a little bit. We check in with that front leg. Possibly go a little more. Keeping that front foot fired up. Leg long. Breathe. This is the 3rd time I've taught this week. It doesn't get any easier. Of course, after doing the cross training class last night with all the squats and stuff, that usually gets things tight. All right, one more breath here. All right, and then we make our way back to the front. So just go back the way you came, set up in your low lunge and open out to the right. Wide stance, toes point to the corners of the mat. So we're bending the right knee this time, still the leg that's near the back edge of your mat. So you get that nice stretch in your left leg, still stretching that left leg. Skandasana, high or low. And then making our way to seated, nice and controlled. Once the bum's down on the ground, sole of the right foot comes to the left inner thigh. And then just look at the shape of your legs, generally an L shape. Here's what we're going for. Turn your torso so it's facing the long leg. We'll inhale the arms up and exhale, fold. Christine, did you do your other leg? You should be on the other leg. Yeah, switch. Yeah. Inhale, slowly rise back up. We'll take that counter stretch. Right hand comes behind us. Lift those hips up. That nice side stretch as well here. And we'll lower it down. Nice. Coming back to seated. So we're going to skip the vinyasa this time. Darn it. So come to the middle of your mat if you're not there, knees bent. Let's extend those arms straight out in front of us. Lengthen the spine as you inhale. And then exhale, roll it down. Keep your thighs squeezing together. Yes. All right. So let's take a nice little twist here. So drawing your right knee into your chest. Extend your left leg long.
And then go ahead and bring that knee across, keeping both shoulders on the ground here. Relax your torso. You can rest your foot on the inside of your leg, the floor, or a block or something. And then inhale, come back to the center, unwind. Take a figure 4 here. So we're still working on that right leg, that right hip. So bend your left knee, right ankle crosses over the thigh, and then pull those legs up into your chest. Nice stretch. Okay, we'll release that down. Extending your right leg long. Let's draw the left knee into the chest this time. Take that left arm out to the side and move into your twist. On the other side. Inhaling, let's bring it back, come out of the twist. Transitioning to figure 4, bending your right knee, crossing the left ankle over, and then drawing the legs up. Releasing that down, uncross your legs. Let's stretch out nice and long. Take your arms above your head if that feels okay. Stretch out through your fingers and your toes. And then let's bring our arms down by our sides, bend the knees. I'd like to give you an opportunity to just get your feet up in the air if you didn't have a chance earlier. Grab a block, place it underneath your hips if you have one, or just take your hands and place them underneath your hips. We'll bring the feet up in the air just for a few breaths here. I know some of you like to take a shoulder stand. I can't really tell from here if that's where you are, but if you are, please bring the hips back down. We're going to do a transition, lowering the legs slowly together. You can keep your block underneath you if you feel stable there. We're going to slowly lower the legs down. Take your time. You can also bend your knees and just bring your feet to the floor, but once they get to the floor, straighten your legs. Keep the block underneath you, adjust it if needed. Keep your hands or your arms underneath you, adjust if needed. Draw the shoulders back. Engage the legs. And breathe. And then go ahead and remove whatever underneath you. Separating the legs. If you need to layer up for Shavasana, get your layers. Easing our way into our final relaxation. And then settling in, creating space for yourself.
allowing everything to soften. Once again, start to deepen your breath. Awakening your body. Start to gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bending your arms and your legs. To your chest. Giving yourself a hug. And to your side. Pausing in this fetal position for just another moment. Gently pressing yourself up to seated on your mat. Coming back to where we began, bringing our hands in front of our hearts. And take a moment to acknowledge and thank yourself for showing up today for you. You deserve it. You can do it. You did do it. And I will always thank you and am grateful for you coming to your mat and allowing me to share my practice with you. So let's seal things up by bowing to ourselves and each other, honoring the light within all of us. Namaste. Thank you, thank you. Amazing job, everybody. Yay! As always, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank
And I hope
you.
to see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. Bye-bye.